I mean, I think it's part of what living in California is all about is the seeing the wilderness areas and for me it's very important for everybody to have access to the wilderness.
That is a shame. As a user of the park, that I feel saddened to hear that.
It's a political thing. From what I've seen, there's 279 state parks in California. 70 are on the list to close. Of those 70, 18 of them have received federal grant money from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and it's illegal to close them. And this
But at the same time, I realize that we have to be realistic about how money is budgeted for the state. I know that a lot of these types of decisions come down to a cost-benefit type analysis. You have to monetize everything, and you have to make decisions based on that. But I think that one of the things where cost-benefit analysis fails is that it fails to take into consideration the sort of the unexplainable element that so many of these wild places have. They induce a feeling, and they actually induce a connection with a place that so many other urban environments just make us totally forget.
I mean, they can close the park, but anybody can just walk in. I mean, there's nothing stopping anybody from walking in there. And, this is a fire-prone area, so we'd hate to see that happen. There's I think 2008, there was a fire, and the Mercury News reported there are 11,000 pot plants that were burning. So, it's like a cartel. They have helicopters flying in. My neighbor helped clean up after one of their, I don't know, they busted the people, and then they had all this stuff for irrigation, and it's a lot, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, pot growing happens all over the state. It does happen here. I've been down. I do a volunteer trail crew down in Big Sur and Ventana Wilderness, and they have pot grow cleanup crews all the time there. So yeah, that is an ongoing problem in California for sure.
Really don't fully understand that Jerry Brown's rationale on this one. I guess he knows what he's doing here, but for me it comes down to money, and the parks are important to me, and I'd be actually quite happy to pay a little more tax to cover the cost of parks. And I think there's a lot of people in California that are kind of sitting have the same opinion.
All the people paying for parking would at least keep the park self-sufficient in and of itself.
California has such a rich tradition of protecting our environment and conserving wild places for the enjoyment of not just current but future generations. We owe so much to people like John Muir, who amongst many other achievements convinced President Teddy Roosevelt to expand protection of Yosemite during a camping trip.
I love this park. It's got great views, and the trails are a lot of variety. You're out on the ledge where it's really sunny, and then it's shady, and there's a campground, and it's a good 5-mile loop hike.
Well, as you well know, I also like to take my camera with me, and so trying to bring the wilderness, back in my camera is pretty high on the list.
Because people like to use them. I mean, people love to get out into wilderness areas. A lot of people do, at least. Castle Rock is a little special as well because it has great opportunities for people to go climbing.
It's fun to watch people climb, and there's so many more people climbing now than there used to be. And right at the waterfall, it's a straight drop off, and to see people struggling up that rock is pretty amazing to see them do that.
For it, it's got a lot of great got a lot of great climbing that's really conducive to beginners. It's got just a little bit of everything. It also has a lot of bouldering, which is climbing low to the ground with pads and no ropes. And the bouldering is arguably the best bouldering west of Yosemite in California.
You know, for me, I guess it's all about getting out into places like this, and you know, I like to bring them home with me. I like to you know, capture you know, images of beautiful places, and you know, so I can, you know, revisit them at home.
And I just read some study that said that people that go on outdoor trips and make connections with their fellow classmates at the high school and college level are something like 100% more likely to have connections with those same people like 17 years later. So there's just all these other things, all these subtle things that we don't take into account when we make cost-benefit analysis decisions on the macro level.
Hey, this is not right. Don't close this park.